Hi there, welcome friend, welcome to Homekeepers. My name's Arthelene Rippy. I'm so glad to be with you today, and maybe you're a brand new viewer and we want to welcome you. Just come right on in. You know, can you grab a cup of tea? Guess what? Just this week, I have a gorgeous great-granddaughter, and for her birthday they did a tea party. Isn't that neat? Got to, you know, train them up in the way they should go, and nothing as wonderful as a group of ladies getting together having a hot cup of tea. So I hope you'll do that with us today. You will be glad you did if you hang around. My guest is Brian Houseman, and let me tell you, after you hear him, you're going to feel like you've had an energy drink. This guy has so much energy. He is just absolutely delightful. He's been a youth pastor. He travels and speaks now, has written several books on youth, and trained up his own children in the way that they should go, in the ways of the Lord. You are going to love Brian. He'll be here in just a second. Before I join Stephanie, we're going to make a Mandarin pasta spinach salad, and we're really excited about the ingredients on this. So, you know, you go along with us for the first time. We don't have test kitchens around here. I'm sure that surprised you, but this one looks really good. Before I join her, though, this is a book written by one of my previous guests, April Shenandoah. She wrote "The Tongue Determines Your Destiny." Your tongue determines your destiny. It's a powerful book with a lot of scripture to back up what is said in here. And I want to offer it to you for the small amount of $14.95. That'll cover the shipping and handling. You can write to us. Our address is on your screen. And also, you can use the 800 number, 1-800-229-0059. And some of my guests have asked that I would repeat the information, you know, the number and the address. So it's Homekeepers, Box 6922, Clearwater, Florida, 33758. Get it right out to you. April is an absolutely delightful guest, and you'll find this book very informative. And we got a good one here today.
I'm excited about this one. This one's going to be fresh, and I love a good fresh salad. Mm-hmm. So we have bow tie pasta, we have spinach, okay? We have craisins, which I'm excited about, cilantro, mandarin oranges. I think that's going to give that such a fresh taste. Teriyaki sauce, oil, vinegar, rice wine vinegar, garlic, sugar, salt, pepper, and onion powder, and then cashews that you're going to cut up. So I'm going to mix all of the salad dressing ingredients. The pasta's already cooked. What you could do if you're at home is, you know, while you're cooking the pasta.
What a great recipe if you're going to have some ladies over.
Oh yeah, nice fresh. Some nights I just like to go home and just have a nice fresh salad.
Well, I do that a lot.
You do that a lot, yes.
Yeah, because I don't have to cook for a guy.
Yeah, I have my man to feed. And he likes steak and potatoes, so
yeah, that's the way they are.
Yeah.
I'm just going to rough cut these because I think I want to.
Yeah.
Also, pine nuts.
Pine nuts. This is just, I'm just mixing everything together. If you have a mason jar, stick it all in the mason jar, put the lid on, and shake it up.
You know what? I got this thing, my daughter-in-law on Facebook, and it had a display of fall things. Now, this is May. We're making this
in May, yes.
Yeah. And she put it, seriously, these are already out, I understand, in Hobby Lobby.
Wow.
Your fall things, so you could expect Christmas things in July.
Which, you know, wouldn't upset me, but oh my gosh, some other people will lose their minds.
But this girl starts Christmas shopping in January, and I commend you.
Yeah, other people will be like, I get things on Facebook like, you know, premature Christmas decorating is, you know, causes this and like it's
causes what?
Like some mean stuff. Yeah.
Oh no! Yeah, I hope Stephanie never ever loses that childlike excitement.
I love Christmas.
Yeah. So
I'm just mixing all the stuff.
She has, I think, she's finished a cancer battle, and you regular people know that.
Yes.
So she didn't get her shopping started in January this year, but I'm sure you'll catch up.
Yes, I will. Okay, so.
All right, I got to taste that.
Yeah, taste it. I'm dying to know.
That is very good. You know me, I would use a little less vinegar.
Oh, okay. See, and it's probably just right
But
for
the teriyaki.
So we have spinach.
I want to see what you think.
Okay.
It's absolutely delicious.
And then bow tie pasta. Yummy. Add pasta to any salad.
And you want to, yeah, and then you got
a good filler.
Entree, but also you want it to cool down.
Yes. And then we got, oh, this is so exciting to me. Mandarin oranges, cilantro. Can't go wrong with cilantro. And craisins. Yummy. Okay.
Besides, it's pretty.
Yes, I'm going to pour some of this over. I'm not going to pour it all over because I don't want to drench it initially. Sometimes it's too much dressing, and then you drown it.
I think it's a good idea to slack off, and then if you want to add more, there's no problem.
We're going to put the nuts on here just for 2 seconds.
You know what I would like with that is one of those hard Chicago rolls with some good butter. You get the kind of butter that was on my uncle's farm.
Yes, good butter.
You know what I mean?
I do.
They made their own.
Oh, look at that. Okay, let's put those on.
There you go.
Thank you. Nice little crunch. I'm making a nice.
I think that's.
Look how fresh and yummy.
I think that dressing is going to be the perfect complement for that combination. Oh,
look at that! It's gorgeous. That's a summer salad right there.
I'll get some spinach. Excuse me if I use my fingers.
You
like the dressing?
I do. Now, here's the thing. If you let it set for a little while and let them all, because we just, I quickly mix them and everything. If you let that set for a little while and really, really marry.
That is a lovely
Oh my gosh. That's delicious. So fresh.
One more bite.
Okay. So fresh. Excuse us while we eat.
I really think, yeah. I really think you would be receiving a lot of compliments if you fix this for a bunch of girlfriends.
It's delicious. It really is.
And if you don't want to use it for an entree, it's a great salad. So, since my mouth is full, will you tell them how they can get the recipe?
They can. The information will be coming up on the screen. It's called the Mandarin Pasta Spinach Salad. Mandarin Pasta Spinach Salad. Information will come up on the screen. Here comes Arthelene with her guest.
Well, no, not yet, because you can email us. See, we might have.
Oh, see?
We might have viewers that first time.
Oh, well, the information's coming up.
She's a new girl. She'll get it.
I'm sorry.
Email. If you write to us, we will ask you to send an envelope with your name and a stamp on it, okay? And hang around and get ready. Get ready for a ride when you meet Brian Houseman. We just love meeting him, and I think you will too, so stay with us. I'll have some more salad.
If you would like a copy of today's recipe, you may send your email request to arthelene@rippy.org. Or you may write to us at the address on your screen, and in doing so, please include a self-addressed stamped envelope. We thank you for being a part of our Homekeepers family.
Well, I'm glad to welcome back to the program Brian Houseman. He was on earlier this year. We talked about his book called The Way You Meant to Parent or something like that.
How You Always Meant to Parent.
Oh, okay, close. And we're going to talk, this is one of the most important books you will ever come across, Tech Savvy Parenting. And my generation, we're not too sharp really probably handling a cell phone, but Brian, I remember I had an 18-month-old, 18 months, a great-granddaughter, Sophia. She's the cutest thing you've ever seen, sitting on the couch, going iPad, and she's.
Yeah.
I thought an 18-month-old could teach me.
I know. It's almost as if like this generation, like the doctor cut the umbilical cord and attached a Wi-Fi cable.
I think they did.
Yeah, because they've always been wired since birth. Like they just intuitively know what to do with
and
this
every
stuff.
kind of app and chip or whatever they can put in. So I assume you wrote this book because it is so needed.
Yes, it was because several years ago, as I was speaking about parenting issues traveling around the country, what happened is just about every speaking engagement, parents began to ask questions about technology issues. And so I started doing some research, and I couldn't find another book on the Christian market dealing with technology from a biblical worldview. To say, how do we use this stuff in a redeeming way?
It's got every kind of technology.
Yes.
And what attracted me to this book is it's got color, the way it's laid out. Don't listen, just trust me on this. you need this book. Grandparents, parents, aunts, uncles, anybody who has anything to do with young people. Now, where can they get this?
You can get it at Amazon.com. Your local Christian bookstore can order it from you. You can get it at our publisher at randallhouse.com. They carried it as well.
Okay, I've talked about my 18-month-old, and they do. They learn to play on a phone. Or I've seen parents hand a kid a phone in church or whatever to keep them.
It's become the next generation babysitter.
Yeah.
You walk in the grocery store and there's 3-year-olds sitting in the shopping cart with their cell phones, and I'm thinking, our parents did pretty okay without having to give us screens.
So, what's the most important thing in this book?
Oh, wow, that's a big question. It is. I think for me, when it comes to, there's so many technology issues we could be talking about, whether it's cell phones or video games and video game violence or digital pornography or sexting, which is a whole new thing.
Oh, I know.
And there's so much to talk about. For me, though, as a Christ follower, the bottom line is this, is that I don't think technology is evil. Technology is inanimate. It can't be good or evil. But instead, it's how we use it as people that can become unhealthy or even times ungodly. And so as a Christ follower, I have to always ask myself the question, how do we use technology and screens in a way that's honoring? Meaning honoring of my relationship with you and other people. Like, am I saying things, or are my kids saying things that are hurtful to other people and bullying them online? And am I using it in a way that's honoring of myself? Meaning that I could stand before the Lord at the end of the day with these screens, these cell phones, and these computers and say, God, everything I looked at today was pleasing to you. And do I use it in a way that's honoring of my relationship with the Lord? Because that's the most important thing.
Yeah, because it has such a good side. I saw on John Ankerberg's show some kind of a little card they put in something that goes to, practically every country in the world, and half of the world is illiterate, but they can put the Bible in their language and put it in this little deal. I mean, this is really a huge tool to evangelize the world, but it also can give a kid a pornography addiction.
Absolutely. Now, the typical parent, when there was a survey done a couple of years ago, and they asked parents by McAfee, which is a technology safety company. And so they asked thousands of parents, when do you first start talking to your children about issues of digital pornography? And the average age was 15. Well, unfortunately, the typical child's first exposure to digital pornography is between 9 and 11. So if we're waiting to 15 to talk about it, and I think it's because it's so hard for us as parents. One, we make it an awkward issue. Any issue involving sex, we make it awkward for our kids to talk about. And it's a developmental issue, and so it's awkward for them to bring it up. And then also, we tend to think of our kids, even in the teenage years, we still see them as kids who are playing with Tonka trucks, and Barbie dolls, and not realizing that by the age now in this generation, by the age of 11, they're making real world grown-up decisions. Yeah, they're going through puberty between 11 and 12 now, and so I can't wait till 15 to talk about this stuff.
Exactly. Okay, now what is the parents' role? I know of parents who have put big screens in their kids' bedrooms, and they're sitting there. That's stupid, isn't it?
I think it's very dangerous, and I don't call another parent stupid. Maybe a more biblical word would be.
What they did was stupid.
Maybe a more biblical word would be foolish. Proverbs talks over and over about the fool.
Has a big,
but
can shut the door.
Yes. So about 70%, 65% of all teenagers have a television in their bedroom. Over 94% of all high schoolers own their own cell phone. 3 out of 4 of all middle schoolers, and now 45% of all children own a cell phone. And so one of the boundaries, and I'm big on boundaries in our home, not rules, but boundaries, because boundaries are part of God's life, and God's intent for us. And so one of the boundaries in our home is they're not allowed to have screens in their bedroom at night. Particularly my son, the typical kid, the American Pediatric Society recommends now 9 hours a day of sleep for good emotional, physical, and mental health. A kid who is sleeping with a screen in their bedroom gets on average 6 3/4. So now we wonder why our kids wake up in the morning and they're grumpy, they're irritable, they're disrespectful, they're sleepy, they're not able to focus at school. Well, just maybe it's not ADD or ADHD. Maybe it's because we've allowed them to have the screen in their bedroom at night. And so they end up staying up late at night on these screens instead of going to sleep.
Every study you see with sleep problems get rid of the screen in your
Right, exactly.
in your bedroom.
Yeah, so one of the things that we've done is we have a box on our kitchen counter, and so an hour before bedtime, our kids have to put away all the screens in the box. And not because I think screens are evil, but it's because I want, yeah. So what happens is, Arthelene, whenever you're looking at a screen in your bed and this white light, it triggers a chemical in our brain called serotonin. And part of it does many things, but one of the things serotonin does is it tells your brain to tell your body it's time to get up. So as long as you're looking at the white light, it keeps you awake. And then once you finally turn the light off, it takes on average, instead of 12 minutes, which is typical, it takes over 30 minutes to fall asleep. So now our kids are staying awake longer and longer because they've got these white lights in front of them.
If you just joined me, I'm talking to Brian Houseman, and if you watch this program very much, you know I cover a lot of books. I love interviewing authors, but this one really stands out. I just want you to know that. We've got a website on the screen. You can learn more about the ministry, but I really do not know a more important issue than this one right here, because it can absolutely destroy a person. A pornography addiction is exactly that. It is an addiction. It can destroy young men before they ever have a chance really at life. When I ask you about the parents, what if you get them a phone? Okay, here's a contract. Read it, sign it.
Well, that's what, in the back of the book, we have a family cell phone contract.
Oh, you do?
We do. And so that parents can actually print it out, they can photocopy it, they could rip it out, or you could actually go to our website at 360family.org or techsavvyparenting.com with the book, and you can download a PDF copy for free. And if you were to go to the local cell phone store here in Tampa, and you're going to buy a newfangled iPhone 48 or whatever you want to buy, if you want to buy this cell phone, that you can't just walk out of the store. You have to sign a contract, right? And it's probably going to be a 2-year-long contract that says you agree to pay every single month in order to have the privilege of using that cell phone. So if we have to do that, if we have to sign contracts for our utilities, contracts to buy a car, contracts to have a bank account, then shouldn't we have our children sign contracts with us as well?
This means you're on your way to adulthood.
Exactly.
This is life.
Contracts, it creates responsibility, and it outlines everyone's expectations.
Okay, but what about those mushy parents? The kid signs the contract and then he violates it, and okay. Shouldn't that parent be really firm in enforcing anything in that contract?
Absolutely. So what the contract is not meant to create a whole set of rules in the home. What it's meant to do is to create clear boundaries for our children, so they understand what our expectations of them are when it comes to social media and their screens, their computers, and everything else. And then, we've had a couple of situations with my kids, and so what I do is, if they've broken the boundaries, at dinner time, I can walk in and I'll just lay the contract beside me at the dinner table. And so when they see it, they're like, oh no, the jig is up. Dad's got the contract out, we're having a conversation. And so what the contracts do is it keeps my kids from saying, oh, I didn't know that, or we didn't cover that, or you didn't say I couldn't download that, because we've covered everything in the contract, And so again, it's not meant to be mean. It's not meant to have my authority over my kids and I'm always watching them like a policeman in the sky. It's just to say, my job is to protect your heart. Rich is really when I explained the issues of pornography to my kids, it's not that I want to say that you're bad if you look at porn. It's that my job is to guard your heart. And part of guarding your heart is helping to protect your eyes.
Parents really need to put that on a chalkboard somewhere to guard their heart, because we try to do everything else. We try to keep them physically fit. We take them to church and all these kind of things, but that's the real issue. I want to go through some of these because time runs out with you.
Because I talk a lot.
No, we're wishing he'd drink some Boost or something, get a little energy. Cameras.
Yes.
Cameras on your phone.
Yeah.
And anything you take and put on the internet is out there forever, and it breaks your heart when young girls will maybe be at an overnight party. I'm talking about middle school.
Yes.
And they'll take pictures that they're going to be ashamed of the rest of their life, but they can't pull them back.
Yeah. There was a survey done about 2 years ago. They interviewed over 5,000 teenagers with the Center to Prevent Teen Pregnancy, and they were asking them about how they use screens in their life. And one of the things they found out was that roughly 4 out of 10 of all teenagers admit, these are at least the ones that admit it, 4 out of 10 of them admit to having sexual conversations with other people on social media. So they're texting sexual messages back and forth. 1 out of 4 of all guys, 1 out of 4 of all girls and 1 out of 5 of all boys admit to sending or receiving nude or semi-nude photos of themselves from other people. And now that's shocking enough as a parent to think that 25% of our girls are doing this. But then they ask the follow-up question, which is logical, and that is, why would you do this? Why would you send a picture that it is permanent? There is no such thing as delete. There is no do-over. There are no take-backs. This is a gift that once you give it, you're giving it forever. And so they said, why would you do this? Arthelene, 66% of the girls, the #1 answer was to be fun or flirty. So think about this, like what we're doing, what technology has done for this generation. It's changing their understanding of relationships even.
Exactly.
Like when we were kids, if you were gonna flirt with someone, maybe you put a note in their locker, I like you, do you like me?
That would be huge.
Yeah, or maybe you wink at a boy walking through the hallway or drop a book and see if he picks it up. I mean, that's flirting, that's innocent. But today we've redefined what flirting, and now flirting is going to the bedroom and taking your clothes off and sending to a picture to a boy.
Yeah, and a new term.
Yes, it's sexting.
Sexting.
Yeah, which is sexual-oriented content through a text message.
Yeah, okay, and we got phones, we got cameras, and I was surprised that, again, this is the book, Tech Savvy Parenting. I was surprised of the damage and the wasted time spent with video games.
Yeah.
I was just astounded.
The typical boy will play over 20,000 hours of video games by the time he graduates from high school, which is more time than he will spend in a classroom from 1st through 12th grade. So it would just,
that's a crime.
Yeah, try to wrap your mind around that. And I think partly, again, I'm not saying that video games are evil or bad necessarily, but there's got to be a time and a place for everything. You know,
that's why the parent needs to be the parent.
Yeah. Like with social media, you know, when it comes to social media, the typical child will now spend 9.5 hours a day plugged into media, meaning like TV shows, Netflix, the internet, you know, phones, everything, 9.5 hours a day. And they spend 2 hours a day just on social media, you know, Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, all these places chatting with their friends, 2 hours a day. Now what that comes to is in a 12-year period, they're going to spend exactly 1 out of every 12 years of their life is just looking at social media.
Wasted time.
It means 1/12 of their existence on Earth now is just chatting with people.
Yeah.
So as
it's
parents,
almost too much to take in.
Yeah,
but
we've got to be willing to set some reasonable boundaries in their life and to help our kids just to give themselves permission to unplug sometimes. That you don't have to always make yourself available to people.
You call them boundaries, I might call them rules, but whatever, they need to be enforced.
Yeah.
Let's see, there was one more thing, and that is there are mechanisms where a parent can really track a kid. Can they track their phone? Can they can track where they go?
Absolutely. There's a lot of good new technology out there, and things, by the way, that that parents and grandparents, that you don't have to know coding and you don't have to know a lot about technology in order to use these things. There's a company, one of the companies that we've worked with is called Kids. UKNOWKIDS is their website. And what you do is you download their app and then you put in your children's or your grandkids if they're living with you.
Can the kid get rid of it? Can he disengage it?
No. So what you do is you put in their username with each of their social media accounts. And then what it does is it sends the parent a report of every person that sent your kid a message on their social media or someone that friended your kids. And the point is, it's not to try to be a spy on your kids. For instance, we've used it, and honestly, I don't check it every day because, one, I have a healthy relationship with my kids and a very open relationship, and I follow them, they follow me, so I can see what they're doing. But if there is an occasion where there's a red flag and I need to know maybe there's something going on, then I can just look at the report and see it. I know that there's a new device out now called Square. And you can go to gosquare.com, and Square, what it does, it's about the size of this teacup, and it plugs into your home router. And then you download the app, and you can set up a different profile for every kid living in your home, or even your spouse who's maybe tech addicted.
There you go.
And so you could actually turn off The video games, you can set and it'll turn off the computer at a certain time of day, or you can set up where one kid can get on the internet and the other kid can't. And so it makes it so user-friendly.
Thank God for that. You know, we're out of time. You're so much fun.
Well, thanks for having me.
Tell them quickly, you got about 20 seconds to tell you where we can get this again.
Yes, TechSavvyParenting.com. You can go to our website at TechSavvyParenting.com or on Amazon, your local Christian bookstore, Lifeway, Family Christian Bookstore, any place like that.
I'm telling you, you need this book. It's easy to read. It's very pleasant to the eyes. But we are out of time, so you stay with me. I have a couple things to say before we have to say goodbye.
Arthelene would like you to keep the following information handy. You may contact Homekeepers by writing to Homekeepers, P.O. Box 6922, Clearwater, Florida 33758, or go to www.rippy.org. Remember, we always enjoy hearing from our viewers, and we thank you for your support. To remind you again,
we're offering in the book, Your Tongue Determines Your Destiny. I was thinking while listening to Brian, you know, if family members just learn to control their tongue, it would be a different house. The information's on your screen. At $14.95, we will send it right out to you. I'm telling you, I love that, Brian. What a message. I feel that the viewers were very, very fortunate to hear him. And talking about the way he conducts his own life as a father and his relationship to the children. I was looking up in the book of Deuteronomy, the 11th chapter, and the Bible, speaking of teaching your children, says, "You shall therefore impress these words of mine on your heart and on your soul, and you shall bind them as a sign on your hand, and they shall be as frontals on your forehead. And you shall teach them to your sons, talking of them when you sit in your house and when you walk along the road, when you lie down and when you rise up. You shall write them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates, so that your days and the days of your sons may be multiplied." So who's supposed to teach the children about the Lord? Oh, I thank God for Christian schools. I thank God for Sunday school. I thank God for churches. I thank God for youth groups. But the best place and the best foundation is you teach them to your children. And I have a little word for the grandparents. If you've got children that are not leading their children in the way of the Lord, there's nothing to stop you from telling those grandchildren about Jesus and planting those seeds. An awesome responsibility, but we know what His Word is. We know how to do it, and we will be so glad if we did. I can never thank God enough for the home I was born into, because they taught me the Word of God, and it's still working today. So please join me next time, remembering there's no higher calling than that of a homekeeper. God bless you.
If you should miss a Homekeepers program, you can catch up by going to www.ctnonline.com. Click on CTN Programs and then on Homekeepers.